my bots are always typing in stuff, you know. All right. Well, anyways, there are a lot of people wanted to talk about the. I got a few different people that wanted to know about the Karmelo Anthony case. Of course, nobody will be here to watch it, but we'll go ahead and go over it anyways. Because I don't know it myself. I think it's just another one of these cases where, you know, people are making it an issue out of the race of the people, and the reason, you know, like probably white people are like, well, hey, what? Let's, you know, we got to make a deal about it being racial, because every time it's the other way around, it's always a racial incident. But it's like at the same time, it's just like just another, you know. I guess I don't even really know the case yet, so I'm going to go through. I have these different newspaper articles that I have the arrest report, and I guess at that point, you know, what date was this article? Let me see. Which one is this one? This one's June 11th, 2025. Okay. I got to get the dates on these. But I need you guys to be communicating, because nobody's talking already. We've already got zero communication going on. All right. And when's the date on this one? I guess there was one more date. Okay, this is now, this one. It's like the reverse Trayvon Martin, right? I mean, it's almost exactly the same. It's like George Zimmerman in reverse, right? I mean, in terms of like what happened, right? You've got somebody walking over to another area provoking something, and then that one person claims self-defense, and the person who died is the white person. In the Zimmerman case, it was Zimmerman sort of provoking somebody by following him around, and then you know, then it became an actual self-defense situation. In that case, it was proven, and then he shot, and you know, but nobody likes George Zimmerman or anybody, you know. It's just all right. So here's how I'm just going to go through these. So it says, this is the first newspaper article in newspapers.com on April 3rd, 2025. A 17-year-old student was fatally stabbed by another student during an altercation at a high school track meet. I remember seeing this on the news. Wednesday, police said. And this is Thursday, so it would have happened on the 2nd. Austin Metcalf was an 11th grader at Memorial High School, according to the principal. So let's see where Memorial High School is. Oh, that's where it took place. So I guess the other high school doesn't matter. Okay. So, you know, they're both 17 years old at the time, and the person who was killed is Austin Metcalf, and he was an 11th grader. And then we have this one here. North Texas student stabbed at track meet, dies, suspect arrested, Frisco police said. A 17-year-old North Texas student was stabbed and killed during a fight at a Frisco ISD track meet on Wednesday morning, Frisco police said. Officers and firefighters responded to the stabbing about 10 a.m. in the 6900 block of Stadium Lane. A fight between two students resulted in one stabbing the other, police said. Police said the 17-year-old victim died despite life-saving measures, including CPR and the administration of blood. The school and family members identified the victim as Austin Metcalf, a junior at Frisco's Memorial High School. Austin's father, Jeff Metcalf, told KXAS-TV that the suspect apparently got angry after being told he was sitting in the wrong spot and being asked to move. He said that his son didn't know his attacker, who stabbed him in the heart with a knife. Austin's twin brother, I don't know if it's identical twin or fraternal, but twin brother Hunter witnessed the stabbing, their father told the NBC station. They were twins, identical twins. Oh, there you go. That's in the next sentence. And his brother was holding onto him. That's crazy. Trying to make it stop bleeding, and he died in his brother's arms, Jeff Metcalf told KXAS. I rushed up there and I saw him on the gurney, and I could tell they said he wasn't breathing. Jeff Metcalf described his son as a leader who made good grades and was an MVP on the Frisco Memorial High School football team. He was a bright young man. Okay, I wasn't talking about him. Let's see. They said he was Jeff Metcalf described his son as a leader who was had good grades and was an MVP on the Frisco Memorial High School football team. The killer here, there's no doubt that he's the killer. He admitted doing it. Karmelo Anthony, he's a good student too. He was getting like 3.7. Yeah. He was a bright young man with a great future ahead of him, Metcalf wrote on GoFundMe page. He was a leader of men. He smiled. His smile would light up the room. His passion for football was unbelievable. Voted team MVP this past season and carried a 4.0 GPA. He was looking forward to taking his game to the next level. His commitment, dedication, and leadership and sheer grit made him rise to the level of success that he desired. His twin brother, Hunter, played beside him. We will all remember him for the way he impacted other lives. I love you forever, son, he said. Let's see. The suspect, 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony, also a Frisco ISD student at Centennial High School. All right, that's the one I was going to just see where that one was. I don't know. Oh, yeah, it's just right there. So it's pretty close, just like across town there. We have, I think there's one in Portland called Centennial, or near Portland. Okay, so he's in custody and there is no further threat to the public. Anthony will face murder charge. His bond has not been set. Tomorrow morning, we will acknowledge Austin's death during second period and will offer support throughout the day. Okay, so the rest of this, doesn't really look like they're going into facts there. That's all I really care about. The fluff stuff is for somebody else. Let's see. My pride and joy, father remembers teen fatally stabbed. So I'll just do the part where, okay, right here. All right. Jeff Metcalf told the Star Telegram that the track meet had been delayed due to the weather. All the students were gathering under tents organized by school, and Austin saw someone he didn't recognize in the Memorial High School group, he said. When Austin told the teen, who was from Centennial High School, that he was in the wrong place, the other student became defiant. Witnesses told Austin's father. No punches were thrown, but words were exchanged, Metcalf said. Austin grabbed the other student's backpack to move it, and the teen pulled out a knife and stabbed Austin in the heart, according to Jeff Metcalf. Grab the backpack. So I wonder what the interpretation of that is going to be. Hey, Liam, how's it going? Senseless, Metcalf said. Austin's identical twin, Hunter, was there when his brother was stabbed. I mean, that's crazy. Okay. I don't really need the last talk. All right, so we'll move on to the next one. That was from April 6th of 2025. This one's from the last one was April. This is also from April 6th. I don't know if it might be the same. Well, it's similar. The 17-year-old suspect accused of fatally stabbing a fellow Frisco high school student during track meet confessed to the killing and told police that he was trying to protect himself, according to an arrest affidavit. Police wrote in the arrest report obtained by Star Telegram media partner WFAA-TV that Karmelo Anthony volunteered statements to officers before he was questioned, including saying, "I did it," and "I was protecting myself." So he went right to that narrative, just like that. Family members identified the victim as 17-year-old Austin Metcalf, a junior at Frisco Memorial High School. Austin was stabbed in the heart and died in the arms of his twin brother. A witness told police that Metcalf had tried to get Anthony to move out from under the Memorial High School team's tent. Like, why was he in there? It seems like you were trying to provoke, because you're from the other school. Now you're underneath the, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he was just in the stands and wanted to get out of the rain, I guess. To move out from under the Memorial High School team's tent see, that's weird. It was underneath the team's tent. When the Wednesday morning track meet was delayed because of the weather, students were supposed to sit with their teams, and Anthony was a student at Centennial High School. The witness reported that when he was asked to move, Anthony opened his bag and reached inside and said, "Touch me and see what happens," according to the affidavit. A witness told police that Metcalf then touched Anthony, who told Metcalf, so a witness told police that Metcalf then touched Anthony, who told Metcalf to punch him and see what would happen. Metcalf then grabbed Anthony to try to get him to move, the witness said. Anthony pulled out a black knife, stabbed Metcalf once in the chest, and ran away. The witness said that Metcalf grabbed his chest and asked people to get help. I think what's going to happen, and the trial's going to focus in on, they're going to prove, did you actually have fear for your life when he grabbed your backpack? Since you're the one that said, "Touch me," and, so it's all going to come down to if you can prove the order of what was said, and then was he actually fearing for his life? No, we only got 31 people watching. I know it's kind of late, I guess. I thought you guys said people show up at this time. All right. Close that one down. Now we're on to the 10th. Teen charged in fatal Texas stabbing told police, "I'm not alleged. I did it." Hey, welcome, April Star. And yes, you too, you guys. If you're out there and you have the ability to help support my channel, I would appreciate it. I know it's kind of late. Not a lot of people here, but the arrest report for the teen accused of fatally stabbing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf during a high school track meet in Frisco, Texas, has revealed new details about the suspect's statements to police after his arrest. Karmelo Anthony, also 17, has been charged with the murder of Metcalf, who was stabbed in the chest during an altercation. The arrest report indicates Anthony admitted to stabbing Metcalf, saying it was in self-defense. Upon being taken into custody, Anthony reportedly told officers, "I'm not the alleged person. I did it," and said Metcalf had placed his hands on him after being told not to. Yeah, but it was sort of like a challenge, like you wanted him to do it. I don't know. While being transported to the police station, Anthony asked an officer if Metcalf would survive and questioned whether his actions could be considered self-defense. A witness described the altercation as being when Metcalf approached Anthony, who was seated under a tent. Um, let's see. Yeah, no, I know. Threw away. Yeah, he threw it on the ground. Right. I just think it's going to be. I mean, are there any witnesses that support Carmelo's side in this case? That say, oh yeah, no, he grabbed him and violently, was looked like he was. The witness described the altercation as beginning when Metcalf approached Anthony and was seated under a tent belonging to Metcalf's team. So Metcalf approached Anthony, who was seated under their, Metcalf's team tent, and asked him to move. According to the witness, Anthony reached into his bag, opened it, and then inserted his hand inside. The report says Anthony had warned Metcalf, saying, touch me and see what happens. See, that's not like, that's kind of like inciting somebody. The situation escalated when Metcalf allegedly touched Anthony, prompting him to say, punch me and see what happens. Who prompted who to say that? Touched Anthony, prompting Anthony to say, punch me and see what happens. Metcalf then grabbed Anthony to move him so he didn't punch him, at which point Anthony pulled out a black knife and stabbed Metcalf in the chest. He fled the scene, leaving Metcalf with a serious wound. A witness reported seeing Metcalf. This trial is just about to start here, so I figured we might as well, if we know about it, then we can do updates, I guess. A witness, it's not streamed, so we'll have to rely on reporting, and then we'll just kind of go over what they're saying. A witness reported seeing Metcalf grab his chest and call out for help. Emergency responders arrived and found Metcalf unconscious and not breathing. Anthony's charged with first-degree murder and has been held in the Collin County jail at $1 million. So I remember a reading that they reduced his bail to $250,000. So he was able to get out for a while, and then they charged him again or something later. Yeah, there it is. So this is 5 days later. Teen stabbing suspect to get diploma. Today, a Texas teenager charged in the fatal stabbing of a fellow track athlete is to receive his diploma, but will be barred from participating in his high school graduation ceremony. Karmelo Anthony, 18 now, is charged with murder in the April 2nd fatal stabbing of Austin Metcalf, 17, at a track meet in Dallas suburb. Anthony was released from custody last month after posting a $250,000 bond. An affidavit alleges Anthony admitted stabbing Metcalf in self-defense. Next Generation Action Network, a nonprofit advocating for Anthony's rights to a fair trial, said the teenager is to graduate and receive his diploma without attending class for the remainder of the academic year, according to WFAA. The nonprofit added Frisco Independent School District allowed it because Anthony completed the necessary credits, has a 3.7 GPA, and his family reached an agreement with the district that included the teenager not participating, etc. But hey, guys, for those of you here, if you could please help support the channel. There were some people that said that they were going to support the channel, and they disappeared on the last show. They were right. I mean, I'm not even sure what happened. That challenge, that was weird. All right. So let's see what else we got. It is truly a shame that Anthony would go so far as to threaten a graduation ceremony. Well, when did he do that? Shame that Anthony would go so far as to threaten a graduation ceremony or try to ruin a day. Well, that doesn't mean he's threatening it. That's just, you know. Or try to ruin a day that should be, like, if he wanted to go to the graduation, that doesn't mean he's threatening anything. Since Anthony is charged with murder, Superintendent Mike Waldrop emailed students and families Tuesday. No student who commits a serious criminal offense is permitted to participate in graduation ceremony. Frisco ISD does not condone violence or crime in our school or at our events and will not reward or celebrate those who hurt others, the email reads. Ahead of the graduation ceremony, Waldrop said Anthony, who trespasses on Frisco ISD property or at a district event, or anyone who trespasses on Frisco ISD property or on a district event will be subject to immediate removal and possible arrest by law enforcement. All right, that was on the 15th. Then it goes all the way to June 11th. This is an actual, internet article. Frisco Independent School District has released surveillance footage of a deadly stabbing that occurred during a track meet in April, but only under strict conditions. Under Texas open records law, requesters may view such video in some cases, but are not permitted to record it. The video begins several minutes before the altercation between Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf. The camera positioned near the press box. So let's see what this would look like. So that must be, the press box is right there. Right? I wonder if there's a camera. I don't know. You can actually go down on 3D view. So it might be just right up there, that's the press box, obviously. So, apparently the tents would be on the bleachers, I guess, right? The field at Kuykendall Stadium. Let's just make sure. This is. Hey, thanks, Jim Wan. Oh, is it over here? How come they said it was at... Oh, man, now I'm confused. I thought it was at that other stadium. That doesn't make any sense. Hold on a second. It was supposed to be at this school. Okay, hold on. I get it. Let's go back to the original. Hold on a second. A 17-year-old student was fatally stabbed by another student. Okay, next. Let's go to the next one. Okay. Stabbed and killed during a fight. Firefighters responded to stabbing about 10 to 6900 block of Stadium Lane. A fight between two students resulted in stabbing. I thought that, man, that's just bizarre. Let me type in the word stadium in here. Okay, the University Interscholastic League District 11 Championship track meet was being held at Kuykendall Stadium. So Kuykendall Stadium, what school did Metcalf go to? He went to Frisco's Memorial High School. The school and family members identified the victim as Austin Metcalf, a junior at Frisco Memorial High School. Okay, so he does go to that other school then, up here. He goes to this school. Okay, Memorial High School. So he was away then. He was over at the Centennial track. Yeah, that kind of makes a little bit, a little slight difference. So he's over here at, so the event took place at Kuykendall Field at Centennial. Yeah, I think. Oh, wait. Or is that in the middle? I guess that's so weird. Centennial's there, and that's over here. So they're at like a neutral, it was a state meet. I get it. I see. So this is like a state meet, and there's a whole bunch of tents by different people all over the place. And look how much bigger this is. Like, this is a huge, okay. All right, so it says, Frisco ISD officials said in an earlier email to parents that the high school track meet was suspended and students were sent back to their home. The University Interscholastic League UIL District 11 5A Championship track meet was being held at Kuykendall Field Stadium. Okay, so this is where it was. Those two students, one went to Memorial High School. That's where the victim went. Centennial High School is where Karmelo Anthony went to school. All right, does that make sense? Karmelo, just one O. Anthony. Okay, then, so he went to school there, and then at this school is where, that's not the track. So Memorial High School is where Anthony Metcalf went. They were just getting it all figured out. All right, there we go. And so that's where they went to school, but this is where the District 11 5A Championship track meet. I don't know if it's a state meet or it was just a big meet. Okay. So track meet. At Kuykendall Stadium. All right, there we go. Got that. And so now we have a press box, and that's going to be up here now. Much bigger. So we'll put a pin there and put press box. Okay. And there's a press box. So that means across the way, or where the tents were on the other side over here. Yeah, now we can get back to that other article. But hey guys, if you're out there and you have the ability to help support the Gray Hughes Investigates YouTube channel, a channel that relies on the people watching to help support it to keep things moving along. So if you have the ability to help support the channel, I would appreciate your support. But if you can't afford to, then don't do it. All right, so where is the one I was looking at? Well, I guess I have to go back. 20, so this is this article. No, we did that one. It was this one in June. And now we can read this and know what the hell they're talking about. The camera position near the press box captures half of the field at Kuykendall Stadium. The tent where the incident occurred is located in the bleachers near the 50-yard line. The tent where the incident occurred is located in the bleachers near the 50-yard line. Due to the camera distance, individuals are not easily identifiable. The camera position near the press box captures half the field of Kuykendall Stadium. The tent where the incident... Well, how is it across the way though, or I mean maybe that camera's over here, right? So it only picks up this half, and then it films the tent that's over there, or it could be on this side of it and only films this half, and the tent's over here. Does anybody know just from out there what side the tent was on? Or I don't think they're talking about the tent was here. That'd be a pretty clear video. Now you can kind of see the stadium over there. Let's see, Karmelo Anthony map. I just want to see if there's a diagram or something out there. Okay, this has a picture of the tarp. Okay, here, hold on. We can look at some pictures here. Okay, so it's the 3, 4, 5 spread out. Is that on the other side? No? Okay, so that's a pretty good clue. It's over here on this side. Now it's basically like 4. Yeah, it's interesting. Like they actually show the tent here. I guess that was right there. See that? Oh, okay, that's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, that's what I was thinking on that side of the field. And so this is the Warriors. So what? Hold on, let me. So that's what I just figured out is there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This side doesn't have it like that, so it has to be on this side. So that means the camera filmed from over here across the way, and it's this side. I'm almost certain, but it's like right there. So it's right on the edge of the camera. Come on. No, that's not the one. I see how there's like the 4s right there. Oh yeah. So what was I keep forgetting why I was going to leave here for a second. I was going to go look to see. Okay, so this is Memorial High School, and that's Anthony Metcalf. So that M is likely his, and then here's Centennial. So now let's go back to that video. See, there it is. There's the M. I'm sure that's for Memorial, right? Memorial Warriors. He probably was right in there. And then what was the other tent? Okay, hold on. What is the mascot for the Centennial High School in what's the name of this town? Oh, Frisco. Right. Frisco, Texas. Okay, the Titans. All right, so then let's see what it was over here at Memorial. the Warriors. I think that's what we just saw. Okay, so that's their tent. Okay, go back to that. See that? The Warriors. So that absolutely is the tent. So they're probably sitting right into there. And yeah, keep going around, keep going around. We can get the exact spot if you keep going, if you keep going. Ah, jeez. Well, we can do it anyways. Let's see. So it looks like 4 and 5, and then there's an aisle there. So we're going to go on the other side. 4, 5, there's the aisle. So the tent was right there. So right in this spot is where the God, I keep forgetting the name of it. Memorial High School Warriors tent. Right there. So that probably, it films to the 50-yard line, so it gets just sort of right on the edge of it. And it's hard to know which side the camera's recording. But hey guys, if you're watching, if you could help support the channel, I'd really appreciate it. We could use some gifted channel memberships, maybe become a member yourself, etc. Now, what else did it say? So the bleachers near the 50-yard line, due to the camera's distance, individuals are not easily identifiable. At approximately 9:55 a.m., a sudden movement is seen under the tent, followed by interaction between two figures. Frisco ISD officials say this is the moment the stabbing occurred. Several people are seen walking or running away while others approach the area. Minutes later, an ambulance arrives, entering through the gate near the end zone and driving to the 50-yard line. Paramedics appear to realize they cannot reach Metcalf, who is in the bleachers with the stretcher. They return it to the end zone, then carry it to the stands. While paramedics work on Metcalf, someone places crime scene tape and unrolls a blue tarp higher in the stands behind the tent. So that's that tarp we were just looking at. Right? Didn't we just see that?
Karmelo Anthony did not say a word when he...
Now that clip... Oh, is it right there? Okay, yeah, they kind of have it over there. I think it's a little bit... It is kind of like more towards that side, so the camera is probably on the right side of the building. They're putting pictures like that. What's funny? What happened? Yeah, the other show was just, I don't know. I mean, this one's no different, really. It's same old, same old. All right, let's go back to this. So, Karmelo Anthony indicted on murder charges in Frisco track meet stabbing. So that means that probably a grand jury says a Collin County grand jury has indicted the teenager accused in a fatal stabbing at Frisco ISD track meet. The county district attorney announced Tuesday Karmelo Anthony, 18, was arrested and charged with first-degree murder after he stabbed and killed 17-year-old Austin Metcalf during an argument at the meet at Kuykendall Stadium on April 2nd, the Star-Telegram previously reported. We know this case has struck a deep nerve here in Collin County. And Anthony told police shortly after his arrest that he had acted in self-defense at the Star-Telegram previously reported. The two teens had been involved in an argument about Anthony being under the wrong school tent during the meet. According to an arrest warrant affidavit, witnesses told police that Metcalf grabbed or pushed Anthony before Anthony stabbed him. So pushing would be a lot different, I think. Austin Metcalf was stabbed in the heart and died in the arms of his twin brother. His father, Jeff Metcalf, previously told the Star-Telegram, "I am glad this process is moving forward, and I look ahead to the trial." If convicted, Anthony faces a sentence of 5 to 99 years. Or life in prison. Yeah. All right, anyways, let's move on to the next one. Hey, thanks, Jim Lawn. And you too, you guys, if you're out there, please help support the channel. We haven't reached the goal 2 nights in a row, so if you guys have the ability, that would be awesome. Thank you. Murder trial of Frisco track meet stabbing suspect Karmelo Anthony set for 2026. You know what's weird is that, like, it made it right when they said it was going to. I mean, usually there's these delays and delays and delays. So this is back in July of 2015. They said that the trial would start June 1st. Well, it did. I mean, it's incredible. There was, like, no delays, nothing, you know. So Anthony, 18, was indicted on a first-degree murder charge in June after authorities said he stabbed and killed 17-year-old Austin Metcalf during an argument at Kuykendall Stadium. Court records indicate that his trial is scheduled for June 1st, 2026 in the 296th District Court in Collin County. Anthony told police shortly after his arrest that he'd acted in self-defense. The two teens had been involved in an argument about Anthony being under the wrong school. What a stupid thing to even lead anywhere near somebody dying. It's just so stupid. And the guy, why did he bring a knife with him? You know, you might look at it like that. And why was he so quick to say, hey, you know, if you touch me, you watch out? He was ready to go. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, what, you know, maybe you could say, well, it's not illegal to have a knife for self-defense. I mean, I don't know. You're going to a track meet, for God's sakes, you know. Yeah, but it's going to come down to, was it reasonable that he believed his life was in danger to take somebody else's life? All right, then we got judge sets media rules for upcoming Frisco track meet stabbing murder trial. So this is April 26th of this year. A Collin County judge last week issued strict media guidelines for the upcoming trial of a teen accused of stabbing another student to death last April during a Frisco ISD track meet. The murder trial is scheduled to begin on June 1st. Judge John Roach, Jr. of the 296th District Court issued the rules last Friday, citing public interest in the case and the defendant's right to a fair trial according to the order. At the time of the incident, witnesses told police that the 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf, also 17, had argued. Anyways, this isn't being streamed. The courtroom will be open at 8:30 a.m. on each day of the trial. with staggered entry times every 10 minutes. Members of the media will be allowed in first, followed by family, then, why not family first? Only 9 members of the media. Wow, they're doing the same thing as the Delphi case. I guess that wasn't really that unusual. Only 9 members of the media will be allowed to attend the trial, and photography and other digital recording of court activity will be prohibited. Just like Delphi. All those present must be dressed appropriately, and no talking, gestures, facial expression, or other reactions to court proceedings are permitted. What an idiot. What kind of a stupid judge is this? Any exhibits admitted during this is way more strict than the Delphi one. Any exhibits admitted during the trial will not be released to the public until the conclusion of the proceedings. If convicted of murder, Anthony faces 5 to 99 years. And we got Frisco track meet stabbing. No black jurors selected for Karmelo Anthony murder trial. Well, the defense obviously didn't pick one either, right? Because they can, have them booted, or vice versa. Like, I don't know. The pool of roughly 500 prospective jurors was narrowed down to 12 jurors and 6 alternatives, alternates in Collin County. Karmelo Anthony is facing first-degree murder charges. Potential jurors returned to Collin County on Wednesday as the high-profile Karmelo Anthony murder trial begins to take shape. Anthony is charged with first-degree murder in the 2025 stabbing death of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a Frisco track meet. Police said Anthony and Metcalf got into an argument over seating in the stands, which escalated when Anthony stabbed Metcalf in the chest with a pocket knife. I mean, how did it come about that there's no black jurors? I mean, obviously the defense team, didn't use, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they were struck by the prosecution, but then there should have been some on there. I mean, based on the defense should have been able to get some. I mean, I don't know. What difference does it make? What are you saying? That a black juror would be more like, yeah, we got to free the black guy. See, that's what I don't like about. What difference does it make? In some ways, I think it actually works better the other way, because what you're doing is you're pressuring. You're going to make them, like, if there's white jurors, they're going to feel like they've got to sort of overboard think it the other way so that they don't appear to be racist or something like that. So I actually think it's probably more in, like, the benefit. What do you guys think? Yeah, I don't know why he would have a knife with him. Yep, any chance, though, you guys could help support the channel tonight? My channel relies on you guys to survive. Okay, we had just a struggling day again today and yesterday. So if you guys have the ability, that would be fantastic. So let's see. During the second round of strikes, the defense raised an issue over 3 potential jurors that the prosecution chose to strike. The defense argued that they were black females and similarly situated as another white female that the prosecution did not strike. Okay, so now there's a racial component that they're trying to say. Prosecutors clarified that the 3 women were struck for non-racial reason. All 3 listed their occupations as educators, and it seems the prosecution does not want educators on the jury because the alleged incident happened at school. Or maybe you might think that they might be able to persuade people. The judge sided with the prosecutors and agreed to strike the 3 women. A 12-person jury was seated with a mixture of both men and women. No black jurors were selected. There's one educator on the jury, but she is an esthetician who teaches at a trade school in Dallas. The defense attorney raised what's known as a Batson challenge, a legal objection used when one side believes potential jurors were removed because of race. Ann Offit, a law professor at SMU who is not involved in the case, says Batson challenges are rarely made and rarely successful. The reason for that is it's not very challenging for a party to be able to come up with a number of right neutral reasons, other reasons that a strike might have been exercised. The party challenging the strike at that point is going to have to prove purposeful discrimination. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, we're going to go to this document right here. This is like the arrest document. Let's see. That's one I find. Official narrative. I immediately left my office. Okay, that's theirs. This is like when they showed up. There was a chain link fence that separated me from the suspect. Does it start up here? Yeah. Okay. Can I copy any of this? Let me try to do the... I'm going to try to convert it to text. Where is it? It's somewhere in here. Like under recognize. Oh, there it is. I gotta switch it around. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I know what this is, yeah. I already did well, it's only 7 pages. I guess we could just read the whole damn thing. How about that? All right. On April 2nd, 2025 at 10:01 hours, I, Stanley, School Resource Officer E. Cortez, heard over the radio dispatch call out a stabbing call at David Kuykendall Stadium. Notes indicate that an athlete was stabbed. The suspect was reported as being black male wearing a gray hoodie and blue sweatpants. I immediately left my office and ran across the Stanley Middle School parking area lot towards a southwest entrance into the stadium. As I entered the stadium, 2 high school age students informed me that the victim was on the north end of the stadium by the bleachers under a Memorial High School tent. I did not identify these students. Next, I proceeded towards the north end of the stadium, visitor side, on foot. As I got closer to the north end, I could see the Memorial High School tent with multiple individuals under the tent. Once I arrived onto the north side bleachers, an adult male who was on the track pointed out the suspect. I was not able to identify that witness. The individual that was pointed out to me was a black male wearing a gray hooded sweatshirt and dark-colored Nike pants. The suspect, at this point, was on the track on the north end. There was a chain-link fence that separated me from the suspect. I gave the suspect instructions to keep his hands up in the air. During this time, the suspect said verbally out loud, "I was protecting myself." It should be noted that I had not questioned him about the incident when he made the comment, so he's immediately admitting that he's the person. I asked him if he had any weapons, and he said no. Hey, thanks, Wild Bill Wassman. Look at that. He's trying to go for a wave, you guys. I patted him down for weapons while we were walking along the fence, and I did not locate any on his person. I instructed the male to continue walking along the fence, which he complied towards an area where there was an opening in the fence that led off the track. While walking him off the track, the suspect also said he put his hands on me. I then detained the suspect in handcuffs, handcuffed behind his back, and had him sit down on the ground. Officer Ricky had arrived on the scene at that time. I conducted another pat-down of his person and then searched his person after he gave me consent. No weapons were located. While the suspect sat on the ground, I advised that I had the alleged suspect. The suspect then responded and says, "I'm not alleged, I did it." I mean, he's like, no, man, I'm not an alleged suspect, I did this. Next, Officer Ricci and I walked the suspect to a patrol vehicle, which was on the northeast gate of Kuykendall Stadium. As we were walking to the squad car, the suspect was emotional and said, "He put his hands on me. I told him not to." I did not question the suspect about the incident while he was escorted to the patrol vehicle. I searched his person once again, and I had him sit in the back seat area, driver's side. A patrol vehicle, while the suspect was, hey, thanks, Phyllis Watson. Man, it's been another struggling 2 days in a row. We're just like, this is my second show today, and the first one was just, it's wild. Who the hell knows, man? It's just getting really difficult. I searched this person once again, and I had him sit in the back seat area, driver's side of patrol vehicle. While the suspect was in the back seat, I noticed fresh blood on his left middle finger. I verbally acknowledged that I saw the blood out loud so that it would be captured on my body-worn camera. It should also be noted that the suspect asked me, is he going to be okay, while he was in the back seat? He was asking about if he's going to live. I then identified the suspect. He provided his name and date of birth verbally as Karmelo Anthony, with a date of birth of, and then I think it's probably sometime around there, which I ran through FPD dispatch. Officer J. Hancock arrived on the scene and remained with me at me and the suspect at that point. Karmelo was then checked via eSchool database for FIS Frisco students to also confirm his identity. The identity information he provided matched the individual I had in custody. Next, I was advised by Sergeant Holland to transport the subject to Frisco PD jail. Upon arriving at the Frisco jail, Karmelo was escorted to the intake area. FPD jail staff changed him out into jail attire. I remained with the jail staff the entire time that he was changed over. The clothes that Karmelo was wearing was placed in an FPD paper evidence bag. The clothes remained in my possession from this point on. Hey, thanks, Phyllis and KK. But hey, guys, if you're out there and if you have the ability to help support the channel, yesterday we only made it a third of the goal, and then today we're not even at 50%. And the first night we did make the goal, but 2 nights in a row we haven't. So we're just really, it's weird, we're just sort of puttering out. You know, I'm not sure what I did differently on here. I still do shows every single night. So if you have the ability to help support the channel, that would be great. Thank you. Yeah. All right, so let me go down to this one. I was operating a fully marked Frisco police. I was this. Let's see. I just want to see if this is even important. I approached the track area and saw Officer Cortez kneeling next to a black male wearing a gray hooded sweatshirt and blue sweatpants. The male, later identified as Karmelo Anthony, was in handcuffs and was seated on the sidewalk by the entrance to the track. As I approached Officer Cortez stated Anthony was the alleged suspect. Anthony then made a spontaneous statement and stated, I am not alleged, I did it. So this person also heard him say the same thing. Officer Cortez conducted a PAT search of Anthony's person to ensure Anthony did not have any weapons and found nothing of evidentiary value. Officer Cortez and I then walked Anthony to my pre-search patrol vehicle, and Anthony was seated in the rear driver's side compartment of the patrol vehicle. While walking to my patrol vehicle, Anthony made another spontaneous statement and asked if what happened could be considered self-defense. I replied by telling Anthony I did not know what happened. It should be noted the in-car camera in the patrol vehicle was activated prior to Anthony being placed in my patrol vehicle. While Officer Cortez assisted Anthony into my patrol vehicle, I noticed Anthony had blood on his left middle finger. So this is all going to be a trial, this stuff. Why would it be a mistrial? Yeah, I mean, it might be like, you know, I could see some courts. I mean, but here's the thing: is our country isn't about race. So what difference does it make? You know, like why would any higher courts say something like, "Well, we're going to have to, you know, we're going to have a retrial here because there wasn't enough black people on the jury." That's just, I mean, I guess, you know, the jury of your peers, but a jury of your peers in our country are just people who registered. Unfortunately, that's the reality. Have you ever been to, you know, where you're waiting to be on a jury? There's some of the, I mean, they're not my peers, okay? And they're not your peers or nobody's peers. These people are morons. They just sit there, you know. So I don't want those people. I almost think that there should be like a professional jury pool or something where these people get paid a ridiculous amount of money, you know, to just be thinkers that are literally like, okay, this is logical, bing, 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 or something. Because I don't want idiots on juries, and there's way too many of those people. And so, but the thing is the jury of your peers is just whoever was there that day, and then you get questioned, etc., right? That's it. And there's no black people on the jury. That just got decided today. And I guess there was 3 of them that the prosecution, I mean, it's hard to argue that the only, you know, the 3 black people, they found a way to get them off of the jury pool, right? But at the same time, why should it matter? I actually think it's going to be the other way around, because the white people on the jury are going to feel like they've got to be way more open than they may have been so that they don't appear to be racist. And so it's going to actually work in reverse. Yeah. But hey, guys, if you could please help support the channel, that would be great. I'm just trying everything I can to try to get try to make it And I've been trying to tell you guys, we're just not doing it. So I need your guys' support when we do these shows. Pretend I'm a Snickers bar, for God's sakes. Aren't I at least worth that? Yeah, I know. They're turning it into. It's the same thing. What's weird about this case is, yeah, I mean, I understand. I think it's all related to the Trayvon Martin situation. So you had Trayvon Martin, who was a black kid who really wasn't doing anything. He was just sort of walking around. The girl he was talking to on the phone, though, is the person who kind of got him to fight. Nobody ever talks about that story. But, Zimmerman started following him because he was suspicious. And then something happened where the guy ended up attacking Zimmerman, was on top of him. That's exactly, they had witnesses. That's how it went down. So even in that case, there was black jurors, and they voted not guilty for Zimmerman. And Zimmerman's not a likable person at all. But in that case, he's the one that sort of is like the main provoker, right? He's following around doing this kind of thing. And in this case, Karmelo Anthony is the provoker. He's sitting in the tent of, that under a tent that he's not supposed to be. It's not his team's tent. And then he talks about, hey, if you touch me, I'm going to do this, I don't know. It's just, I hate the whole thing of the race card bullshit every single time. It's just sick. Like George Floyd. What a pile of shit George Floyd is as a person. Everybody knows that, right? Like George Floyd was a freaking, just a pile of crap of a human, all right? However, the officer, the way he did it with his knee and all that kind of stuff like that, that was messed up, right? It was messed up. They say he may have died from something else, etc. But, I didn't like the way the officer was in that case. But to have him as your poster child as some sort of hero, whew, man, that's ridiculous, okay? But I'll try one last time, you guys. If you could please help support the channel, that would be great. It seems like whenever I say that these days, it just doesn't resonate with anybody. And I'm always left sort of feeling like nobody heard what I said. I'd like to keep the channel moving on and going forward, but it's getting harder and harder and harder every single night, So I need your guys' support out there. Maybe become channel members, gift some channel memberships to people. That would be great. I'm not just saying what I'm saying. I'm telling you what the reality is. Okay. Frisco Police Department. Emergency communication was receiving an emergency call regarding an athlete that was stabbed. The originally unknown assailant was black male wearing a gray hoodie and blue sweatpants and also had a goatee and short hair. The suspect was possibly wearing Centennial High School attire, as it was believed he was a student there for the sporting event. This had all taken place on the visitor's side of the stadium. And the victim was under the Memorial High School memorial tent in the bleachers. We showed that earlier where all that was. At around the same time, school resource officer Cortez arrived on the scene and began assisting the victim trainers and the other parties. Officer Cortez also advised on the radio that he also had the suspect. Sergeant Otis was working the 50 sector as the sergeant. He was in full Frisco Police Department uniform with distinct patches, etc. Sergeant Otis walked up the visitor bleachers and observed the victim being treated by Frisco Fire Department personnel and also the athletic trainers. The weather began to turn and it began to heavily downpour rain at this time. Are you guys still here? Hello? We got KK saying yep about 10 minutes ago, so we need more communication. The weather began to turn and it began to heavily downpour rain. At this time, some of the FISD staff moved the memorial tent to cover the victim and the FFD personnel. Sergeant Otis began using his city-issued phone to snap crime scene photos to preserve as much of the scene as possible due to the weather and the large gathering of people that were involved in the incident. Other officers began to set up crime scene with tape moving non-essential personnel out of the immediate area. The officers on the scene were informed that the knife that was used was tossed and was still believed to be somewhere close. Eventually, one of the witnesses said they remember seeing it on the bleachers still. Officer Schals was able to locate the knife. It was located between rows 9 and 10 near seat 30. Located between rows 9 and 10 near seat 30. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then seat 30, huh? I don't know how big that would be, but probably like right over here, I would think. You know, probably like right there. Yeah. What a joke Ferguson was, man. Jesus. Absolutely embarrassing. All right, let me get to this. Back to this again. They were able to locate the knife. I was located between rows 9 and 10 near seat 30, partially open. Because he admitted that he did it. That's why he tossed it. I mean, if it was self-defense, maybe just... I don't know. That doesn't make me think anything. He tossed it. He's probably like, oh my God, you know, like it was weird, and he just tossed it. He wasn't trying to hide it. It was right there in the middle of the... let's see. He was able to locate the knife. It was located between the same place I just showed you. The rain began to come down again heavily, and it was determined that instead of moving the knife, the officer would cover it with a large blue tarp. Sergeant Otis assisted in preserving the immediate crime scene as much as possible, while the other personnel tended to the victim and eventually transported him. At around this time, Officer Wetzel had the crime scene log and began logging the individuals on the call to the best of his ability. I don't know. Just they took pictures of the crime scene. And this guy talks about how he put crime scene tape up. The victim, Austin, and the suspect, who was later identified as Karmelo Anthony. Anthony was Centennial High School and was sitting under the Memorial High School tent. Austin had told Anthony that he needed to move out from under their team's tent, and Anthony grabbed his bag. So now we've got an actual... Let's see. Okay, right here it says, the following is a summary of my contact with a witness. Advised he was sitting under the Memorial High School pop-up tent with his team and was near the victim, Austin, and the suspect, who was later identified as Karmelo Anthony. Anthony was from Centennial High School and was sitting under the Memorial High School tent. Austin had told Anthony that he needed to move out from under their team's tent. And Anthony, I mean, what was he doing sitting underneath that tent? Was he trying to provoke or create some issue like, hey, I can be wherever I want. Who cares if it's your tent? It just seems stupid, you know? Like, what would be the point that you would need to get underneath that? It just does. I don't understand that part. I think that's sort of a deliberate, like you're trying to provoke something, and what you tried to provoke is exactly what happened. I mean, that's the argument I would make. What was he doing then? Don't say, 'cause he has the right to be there. But why is he doing it? I don't care if he has the right to do it. You know, why were you underneath a different team's tent? Was it that, like, there was not a lot of tents there, and so you wanted to get out of the rain too? I mean, that would make sense, I guess. Is that what they're going to claim? How many tents were up? Let's see. No one really thought. Okay, up here it said Austin had told Anthony that he needed to move out from under the team's tent, and Anthony grabbed his bag, opened it, and reached inside and proceeded to tell Austin, touch me and see what happens. See, that's another comment of provocation. There's no reason he needed to say that. I think to me, it appears like he was trying to have this happen, you know, just the way this is, right? Why is he saying to somebody, he said, yeah, you can't sit here. Touch me and see what happens. Why are you saying that? That makes sense to anybody? No one really thought Anthony really had any weapons in his bag, and Austin proceeded to touch Anthony. He probably just touched him. And then Anthony told Austin to punch him and see what happens. He's wanting him to assault him so that he can pull out the knife and stab him. You see what he's doing? He's trying, okay, you touched me, okay, I'll let you get away with that. Now punch me. That's ridiculous. And told Austin to punch him and see what happens. A short time later, Austin grabbed Anthony to tell him to move. You know, you can't grab somebody, so I'm not sure where that is in the spectrum of fear for your life. And Anthony pulled out what this person recalled as a black knife and stabbed Austin once in the chest and then ran away. Austin began grabbing his chest and telling everyone to get help. He advised he did not know Anthony's name, but stated another Memorial Track member was friends with Anthony, and he could identify Anthony. So he described Anthony as a black male, skinny, with possibly a goatee, short puffy hair, and wearing Centennial High School clothing. This concluded my contact with that person. Went straight to the field. Only a short time later, Officer Cortez and myself escorted the suspect, Karmelo Anthony, to the Frisco Adult Holding Facility. Let's see. When I arrived at the scene, it was already marked off, and a suspect was in custody. I began asking people if they were a witness to anything. I made contact with Hunter and then another person, and they were both breathing heavily and crying due to the nature of events. They were with another Hunter. They were with coaches on the field, and it was pouring down rain. We made the decision to relocate to a locker room just to the east to get out of the rain. Once in there, things calmed a little bit. However, they were still hysterical and could not really talk in there. I learned Hunter was the brother of the victim. I attempted to ask them both what had happened. I could not really get anything out of Hunter, but stated he wanted to speak. I asked him what happened, and he stated they were all sitting on the bleachers under, I'm going to see if this is consistent, under a Memorial High School tent, when another male who they did not know walked over and sat under the tent. Then Austin told this male that since he did not go to Memorial, he had to leave the tent. This person also said that during this time of arguing, the male was reaching around in his bag, a bag he had. It was at this time the male took out the knife and stabbed Austin and then left the scene. So that kind of left out some of the... This was all remembered when he talked to me. After this, I then stood up with 3 athlete witnesses. I stood by with 3 athlete witnesses. I don't know what the hell that means. They were collecting names. Otis, you could see blood on the knife. I quickly, so it started raining, and so they had to cover where the knife was. I threw up a tarp. Tarp was suspect's backpack. It was only Centennial High School backpack located with all the Memorial High School backpack. So they actually found his backpack too, so they got that. After securing the scene with crime scene tape and attempting to preserve as much evidence as possible, I assisted other officers with locating other possible witnesses. Officer Wetzel was maintaining scene security while I was assisting the other officers. After the medics transported the victim, I relieved him of that post so he could go back to patrol. I maintained scene security until the call was cleared. Photos will be uploaded to the crime scene folder, and my body cam will be downloaded at the end of the shift. I'd rather just sort of hear like different, I don't really care about that stuff that much. I mean, he's already admitted doing it, so the rain hitting the knife doesn't mean anything. He said that he did it. That he's not an alleged person. He did it. Let me see this part. I responded to Texas Health Piano to assist with the case. I was tasked with meeting the ambulance at the hospital. I arrived prior to the ambulance and waited for them to arrive. They arrived at 10:46 hours with the victim, who was brought into the trauma bay for treatment. At 10:53 hours, Dr. Chow pronounced Austin deceased. Once he was pronounced, staff stopped treatment and disconnected cords and tubes from the machines without removing anything from the body itself. While on scene, I took possession of clothing worn by Austin and maintained possession of the items until CSI Dillard took them from me. While on scene, Officer Landon requested assistance in lifting the sheets off the body to take photos. I then placed the sheets back when completed. I then stood by in the room for security while Officer Landon, Officer Hernandez, and CSI Dillard took additional photos. At one point, they rolled the body and removed shorts from Austin, which were bagged and stayed in my custody until CSI took them. At 1:24 hours, family was allowed into the scene to view the body. I was informed by staff and officers that they would be allowed to touch the head and feet of Austin, which they did. Who? Took additional photos. At one point, they rolled the body and removed shorts from Austin, which were bagged. Oh yeah, and then family was allowed into the scene to view the body. I was informed by staff and officers that they would be allowed to touch the head and feet. Yeah, that sucks. Well, I don't know. So all this other stuff is just, procedural shit. So, I mean, it sounds like, it's going to come down to, the whole case is going to come down to what are the facts about the grabbing, the touching, what made that, see, to me, the case, it's absolutely way more on Karmelo's side because he went to another school's tent and sat there, almost as if he intentionally tried to provoke them. And not only that, when he was asked to leave, he said, touch me and see what happens or something, right? I mean, that's like way overboard. It looks like you're literally trying to provoke somebody. And then he got touched. And then, he could tell that wasn't enough. I can't really call that something. So then, when he was sort of grabbed somehow, we don't know that the describing of the grab is what's going to be the key. But then at that point, then he said, no, yeah, then after he was touched, he said, punch me and see what happens. So he's trying to keep escalating it so that he can use the knife as self-defense. That's why he so quickly was like, hey, it's self-defense. It's self-defense, everybody. Because that's what he planned to do. Like, I actually think this is more, you could actually make the argument of premeditated murder on this one. Like, he literally sat under the tent there and then provoked verbally twice to get a reaction so that he could use deadly force and call it self-defense. Don't you see that, what I just said? That's exactly what I think. That's what I see when I read this stuff. That he went there, provoked 4 times. First by going under a tent, or 3 times at least. So going under the tent. Second by saying, touch me and see what happens. And then putting his hand in the bag. And then he got touched. And then he said, punch me and see what happens. Because that wasn't going to be enough to claim self-defense. So he needed just a little something more, like a grab or something. Oh, and then he pulls out the knife and stabs him after saying, that, I don't know, it's just, what a bullshit story, I think he's going to get the maximum here, and all this crap about race and whatnot is just ridiculous. However, it's going to come down to witnesses describing the grab, and then he's going to have to probably testify and explain why he was fearing for his life and why he made those other 2 comments. And that's where it's going to suck for him, because the prosecution is going to come in and say, when they asked you to leave, why didn't you just leave? Why did you say, touch me and see what happens while your hand was in your backpack? And he go, well, because, it just seemed like you were sort of threatening. And then when he actually touched you, you didn't do anything then. So why did you then try to provoke again by saying, punch me and see what happens? Right? And then he didn't punch you. He grabbed something, and then you pulled out your knife and stabbed him. He's screwed. Now that I've gone through it, I look at it, he's screwed. All right. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here, you guys. Thanks for being here. You guys have any thoughts yourself? Thanks everybody for being here, and thank you April and Songbird for supporting or becoming new members again, I guess. Then Jim Lawn, then Wild Bill Wassman, then we had Phyllis Watson and KK. Yeah. All right, thanks everybody. See you guys later. Be safe out there. Yeah, where was that super chat, Songbird? You never sent it in. Okay. That's better. That's better. Thanks, Songbird. Anyways, what do we got here? Oh, yeah. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube, where we cover true crime using logic, reason, and common sense. Thank you very much for watching.
Bitch, please.
Evil can never be dead enough.
And some of you, you make shit up.